I get quite annoyed with those people that, when you use the word Hoover, they still say, oh, it's not actually a Hoover. Hoover's the brand name. It's actually a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, I know. Because it's not like Hoover have made a range of products, so there could be a case for confusion. Do you know what I mean? Oh, bloody kids have spilt some crumbs on the floor again. Couldn't pass as a Hoover, could you, love? Now, when you say Hoover, do you mean the vacuum cleaner or this sniper rifle? That's a shame. I wanted to teach them the hard way. Yeah, about a month ago, I was a best man at a wedding, which is cool. But when I got there, someone said to me that thing. They said, you know, obviously as the best man, you get to shag one of the bridesmaids. But at this wedding, right, the two bridesmaids were my sister and the bride's 13-year-old daughter. Right? So that turned out to be the hardest decision of my life. Just ended up being a very awkward threesome. But we all died inside a bit there. Quite annoyed with. I've got no links, by the way. You'll notice that a lot of comedians, they sort of link all their jokes really nicely, so you end up with sort of one long seamless story. Well, I can't really do links between my jokes. I could just say link between the jokes if you want. Links. I'm quite annoyed with Superman at the moment. And, what annoys me about Superman is the way he flies. You know the way he flies about like that. And I've watched all his films and I've noticed that he can fly just as well in any position. So when he's doing that, just sort of showing off really. And in theory he could just turn up to the emergency, you know, like that. Obviously it may give the impression he's not bothered anymore, but Superman, over everything alright? Not really. It's just the time when I heard about the emergency, I just settled down to watch an episode of Cracker. And it's a two-parter, so not only is tonight ruined, but tomorrow's a write-off as well, that's all I'm saying. That's what I was thinking there, but these are new, by the way, so statistically, you know, there's going to be some shit. We're finding that out now. So what else? Oh yeah, I used to work in a toy shop. I probably should have done, but it's not the best advert for a toy shop, let's be honest. I'm not, but I just happen to look like one. And you know, and the thing. Sorry, but the thing that happens, what happens quite a lot when you work in a toy shop, people come up to you and they ask for suggestions of what to buy their kids for birthdays and Christmas stuff. I remember one day this girl came in, and she said, wonder if you help me, I'm looking to buy a present for my 8-year-old son. He's into Dungeons and Dragons, train spotting, and those little lead figures. So I thought about it, I said, well, if your son's into Dungeons and Dragons, train spotting and those little lead figures, can I suggest you get him self-defence classes? He's up. Because you know, I do because you know, I worry about getting beaten up, obviously. But what I worry about more is I worry about getting beaten up when I really need a wee. Because you know, there's those times when you need a wee so badly that if anyone even touches you, it's going to come out. And if that happens when you're getting beaten up, it's going to be embarrassing. And there's not a lot you can say to the attacker, you know. You can't say, oh, by the way, mate, I'd just like to point out that my little accident had nothing to do with you. I had 8 cans of Tizer and it was always going to happen. Balls, I thought that would work. I've got 3 more bits. Oh no, 4 more bits and then I'll bugger off. I am single. Any single people in? I might move over here. But I think a lot of comedians talk about this, but one of the things, the reason I think I'm seeing was because like men and women, obviously, they're talking about men and women, but they think differently, you know, like sorry, what's your name, mate? Tobias. Oh, you're Tobias. Oh, right. Should shorten that. It's cool, but yeah, it's not cool. It's fucking horrible. God love you. What could you shorten that to? Us. Toby. Yeah, that's better. So Toby, you're a good-looking man, and if I say to you, you know, you're a handsome chap, I bet you could sleep with loads of women, you'd be chuffed. Of course you would, yeah. But if you say to a woman something like, you'd make an excellent whore, they think you're crass. There you go. There was. Oh yeah, a weird coincidence happened recently. 3 of my friends, I call Gary the Turdmeister, Chris Tits, and the Ponce, have all recently asked me to stop giving them nicknames. I don't know why I'm good at it, but I went to the flicks. Well, I went to the cinema a couple of months ago with my brother and watched a film. It was nice stuff. But on the way back, we started talking about films when we were growing up. And I remember when we were growing up in the 80s, there was this trend with, I don't know if you remember this, so the trend in the 80s where they used to have murder mystery films where they always worked in the same way, where the murderer would get caught out because he'd say something to the copper that only the murderer could know. He'd say something like, oh, I can't believe Janet drowned. And the cop would say, I never actually told you she drowned. And I always thought at that point, why did the murderer just say, yes you did? You told me yesterday. Oh, did I? Fair enough, on your way. Be a shorter film, but whatever. I'll end on this because it's never really worked. But I was walking about recently. That needs a new start. I was walking about. Think before you start these things. Fucking idiot, I really am. But I was talking about, and and I heard someone behind me say, I can't quite believe this is happening. So obviously I spun round to see what bedlam was happening behind me. Because obviously if you say, I can't quite believe this is happening, something pretty bloody special's got to be happening. So you can imagine my disappointment when I turned round and all that had happened is this woman had dropped her keys into a puddle, right? So I went up to her and said, excuse me, but did you just say, I can't quite believe this is happening, but all you've done is dropped your keys into a puddle? She's like, yeah. I said, well, you can't do that. Because there's very few times when you can legitimately say, I can't quite believe this is happening. And I've got a list of those times. So I said the number one is if you find yourself being punched in the face by a kangaroo wearing boxing gloves. Can't quite believe this is happening. Number two is if the world's about to implode, then fair enough, I can't quite believe this is happening. And thirdly, and most unlikely, is if you find yourself laughing at 2 pints of lager and a packet of... Well, you know, see you later.